Words of Sri Aurobindo from the book The Mother, with letters on the Mother by our Lord. Page 337, topic The Mother's Help in Difficulties. Our Lord says, even when one cannot call in actively the Mother's force, one must keep the reliance that it will come. Date 26 August 1936. Our Lord says it is the physical mind that feels too inert, but if some part of the being turns to the Mother, that is enough to bring in the help. Date 25th Jan 1934. Our Lord says, in the silence of our heart, there is always peace and joy. It is an obsession from the subconscious physical, bringing back the habitual thoughts, I can't call rightly, I have no real aspiration, etc. The depression, the memory, etc. are from the same source. It is of no use indulging in these ideas. If you cannot call in the Mother in what way you think is the right way, call her in any way. If you don't, or if you can't call her, think of her with the will to be rid of these things. Don't worry yourself with the idea whether you have the true aspiration or not. The psychic being wants, and that is sufficient. The rest is for the divine grace on which one must steadily rely on. The rest is for the divine grace on which one must totally, steadfastly rely on. One's own merit, virtue, or capacity is not the thing that brings the realization. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, I shall send the force to rid you of this obsession in any case, but if you can abandon these habitual ideas, it will make the disappearance of the attack easier. Date 4th Jan 1937. Our Lord says, it is always best in times of difficulties to tell the Divine Mother and call the Divine Mother for your help. It is probably something in his vital that needs somebody to protect and care for, but you must accustom yourself to the idea that it is not needed, and the best thing to give the person is to the care of the Mother. Offer the object of your affection to her. Date 15th November 1937. Next topic, prayer to the Mother for inner and outer things. Question. You say when one is a sadhak, the prayer should be for the inner things belonging to the sadhana and for the outer things only so far as they are necessary for that and for the divine work. This later portion about prayer for outer things is not clear to me. Can you kindly explain? For this our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, all depends on whether the outer things are sought for one's own convenience, pleasure, profit, desire, etc., or as part of the spiritual life necessary for the success of the work, the development and fitness of the instruments, etc. It is a question mainly of the inner attitude. If, for instance, you pray for money for buying nice food to please the palate, that is not the proper thing for a sadhak. If you pray for money to give to the Mother and help her work, then it is legitimate. Question. I quote several types of prayers which I offer and shall be grateful to know which one of them are outer, inner, wrong, or helpful, or a hindrance, or what amendment is needed. In the night time when I sit to read and an untimely attack of sleep comes, I pray to the Mother to be freed from the attack of sleep. For the Sri Aurobindo says, if your reading is part of the sadhana, then it is all right. Next topic, removal of recurring difficulties. Question, what is the right way of meeting one's recurring difficulties? For this our Lord says, equality, rejection, calling on the Mother's force. What stands in the way is the recurring circle of the old mixture. To break out of that is very necessary to arrive at an inner yogic calm and peace, not disturbed by the outer things. If this is established, it will be possible to feel in the mother's presence, to open her guidance, to get not by occasional glimpses, but in a steady opening and flowering the psychic perception and the descent of the spiritual light and ananda. For that help will be always with you. Date 7th March 1937. Next topic, recovery from bad conditions. Our Lord says these bad conditions in the current situation are a lapse, often due to a very slight cause, from the inner poise to the outer consciousness. When that happens, do not get affected but remain quiet. Call the Mother, call the Divine Mother, and get back inward. Date 24th Jan 1936. Sri Aurobindo says an occasional sinking of the consciousness happens to everybody. The causes are various. Some touch from outside, something not yet changed, not sufficiently changed in the vital, especially the lower vital, some inertia or obscurity rising up from the physical parts of the nature. When it comes, remain quiet, open yourself to the Mother, call back the true conditions and aspire for a clear and undisturbed discrimination showing from within yourself the cause of the thing that needs to be set right. Date 4th March 1932. Next topic, Mother's help in attacks. Mother's help in attacks. For this, Sri Aurobindo says, it is the forces of the ignorance that begin to lay siege and then make a mass attack. Each time such an attack can be defeated and cast out, there is a clearance in the adhara, a new field gained for the Mother in the mind, vital or physical or the adjacent parts of the being. That the place in the vital occupied by the Mother is increasing is shown by the fact that you are now offering a strong resistance to these sieges that used formerly to overpower you together. To be able to call the Mother's presence or force at such times is the best way to meet the difficulty. It is with the Divine Mother who is always with you, says our Lord. It is with the Mother, the Divine Mother, who is always with you and in you that you converse. The only thing is to hear aright. The only thing is to hear aright, so that no other voice can come in between. Date 7th December 1933. Question: what is the best means for the sadhaks to avoid suffering due to the action of the hostile forces? For this, our Lord says, faith in the Divine Mother and complete surrender. Date 17 June 1933. Next topic, unfailing help and protection. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, the experience you had of the power of the name and protection is that of everyone who has used it with the same faith and reliance. To those who call from the heart for the protection, to those who call from the heart for the protection, it cannot fail, it will never fail. Do not allow any outward circumstance to shake the faith in you, for nothing gives greater strength than this faith to go through and arrive at the goal. Knowledge and tapasya, whatever their force, have a less sustaining power. Faith is the strongest staff for the journey. The protection is there over you, around you, within you. The watchful love of a Divine Mother. The protection is there all around you, within you, and over you. And the watchful love of the Mother is also there. Rely upon it and let your being open more and more to the divine. Then it will repel attacks, whatever may it be, and always uphold you. Date 8th October 1936.